Hi there. I am Marcelyn Bailey of ML Bailey Consultants Incorporated and For Real Social Workers Online Magazine, and you have pressed play. I'm so glad that you have. Welcome to the Side Hustle Social Worker webinar series. Our first recording in this series is 5 Smart Questions to Boost Your Social Work Income. And you may remember this title or a similar title from my ebook starter guide, 5 Smart Questions Social Workers Should Ask If They Want to Boost Their Social Work Income. Well, I want to welcome you. Let me tell you a little bit about the Side Hustle Social Worker video series. We are going to share information via webinars for social workers who work full-time jobs but need or want to boost their social work income through part-time, second job, or side hustles. Now, as a social worker, and I have almost 30 years experience as a professional social worker, I also have almost 20 years experience working side hustles and part-time jobs. And I understand that as a social worker, we don't always have the luxury of boosting our income by virtue of a promotion or by changing jobs. So, for social workers, it's often expedient for us to take on a second work, right? Well, I'm doing this type of work. I'm sharing the information that I have learned through my years of experience as a person who has a side hustle with those social workers because, hey, we don't have the option of boosting our income via promotion or a new job. Also, we also don't have the option of just going from job to job with the hopes of having the same types or levels of benefits that we have in our current positions. So I understand why it's sometimes helpful to have that second job. Well, look, today's agenda. Today we're going to talk about several things. We are going to talk about how to lay a firm foundation for a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle. We don't want our side hustle to be the same as our full-time job, where we go to work, we do the same thing every day, day in and day out. We may be bored, we may not have opportunities to make decisions on our own, and we may not use the full range of our skills, abilities, and interests. So today, we want to share the questions you need to ask to lay a firm foundation for that side hustle that you want. Our focus is going to be on the 5 smart questions. Now, we're not going to go over all of the questions today. We're going to cover 3 of those questions, and you're going to have an opportunity to participate. I'm going to give you a chance to write down some notes, some questions as we go through the webinar. What do I want you to take away from this experience today? I want you to take away the fact that there are questions that you can ask yourself that will help you to, again, create and develop a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle for yourself, one that you will enjoy doing, and one in which you will feel that you've accomplished things that you're not able to accomplish in your full-time position. Okay, so We're going to spend about 30 to 45 minutes together going through the questions. I want to also invite you to sign up, request entrance into the Social Workers private Facebook group. You'll find that on Facebook. It's the Social Workers private Facebook group. Ooh, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. In that, as a member of that group, you're going to have access to webinars, audios, and shared experiences of other members who are social workers who, too, are working part-time jobs or who want to work part-time jobs. My hope is that we will build a group of supportive social workers who can help each other kind of field some of the problems or concerns that working a second job brings up. I also want to invite you to go to For Real Social Workers online magazine and sign up for our newsletter. In the newsletter, you will receive updates about what we're working on, as well as some tips, and you'll also receive the latest blog information about the latest blog post. Okay, that's just a few reminders, few housekeeping things. Okay, now, ask the SMART questions. I crossed out the word right because I do believe that there's no wrong answer, the wrong questions. I believe that any question that's asked is a right question because the person who's asking it either does not know the answer, they need the information, or they want clarification. So there are no wrong answers. But I also believe that there's a distinction between SMART questions and right questions. A right question is any question that's asked in order to gain information, knowledge, right? A SMART question is a question that I believe is completely geared towards your specific needs, wants, or desires. And this is why I've coined the phrase 5 SMART questions, because the questions that we're going to ask, that I'm encouraging you to ask, are questions that are geared towards helping you to determine what you need specifically in order to have a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle. Okay, now, as I said before, I referenced the ebook starter guide, 5 SMART questions to ask if you want to boost your social work income. This starter guide is available for you, and you just have to go to www.forrealsocialworkers.com/start here. The Start Here page has a combination of resources for you as a social worker who wants to boost her or his social work income. In addition to being able to download the ebook starter guide for free, you'll also get a planner where you can write notes, write questions, jot down ideas as well. All of this is free, and it's something that I want to put into your hands because, again, it will help you to develop a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle. And you're going to hear me say those 3 words over and over and over again because you want your side hustle to be different than the full-time work that you do. And I'm not saying that you don't enjoy your full-time work. What I'm suggesting is your side hustle, your part-time gig, or your second job should be something that you thoroughly enjoy, one that you feel that you can accomplish or achieve professionally what you set out to do. It should also fit your personal life and your lifestyle like a glove. Okay, so let's get to the first question. And again, you will find these questions in the free starter guide, ebook, and companion planner. What skills, abilities, and interests do you have? Now, when you look at your skills, your abilities, and your interests, I'm pretty sure that you might be tempted to just write down a list of words that you feel describe what you have. I'm a good communicator. I am a good writer. I have the ability to interview others for information. And I think that's a good start. What I will suggest is, and especially, and I explain this more thoroughly in the ebook, I suggest that you take those skills, those abilities, and interests that you write down and then break them down into their individual skills. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take the skill of communication. Communication is actually a combination of many different skills. The communication incorporates listening, speaking, using inflection, tone. It incorporates observation. It incorporates body language, interpretation of body language, interpretation of inflection, interpretation of tone. It incorporates many individual skills. And that's what we consider to be communication, right? You can also communicate in writing. But we don't just communicate, we don't just write. We can write a social history. We can write a research paper. We can write a thank you note. And all of those have different, we use different skills in order to write those different, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied again. But we use different skills depending on the type of writing that we're doing. We use different vocabulary. When I talk to my girls, I don't say and I don't talk the same way that I would if I was meeting someone at a professional meeting or a conference. So communication has many variations and it includes many different skills. So what I'd like for you to do when you're considering your skills, your interests, as well as your abilities is to take those skill groupings like communication and break them down into their individual skills. By doing so, you will get a better understanding, clearer understanding of your entire skill set. In addition to looking at all of the skills that you have, I also suggest that you consider your skills from the standpoint of the skills that you enjoy using the most, the skills that give you the most joy and satisfaction when you do them. Also, the skills that you fall back on, your go-to skills. What are those skills? So, number one, you're going to break down skill groupings. Number two, you're going to consider skills from the viewpoint of those skills that you enjoy the most, that you find most satisfying when you use them, as well as your go-to or fallback skills, those skills that you do automatically without thinking. Then the third thing that I want you to consider when you're looking at your skills, abilities, and interests, I want you to look at the outcomes that you've been able to bring about by virtue of using your skills. Now, this is very important. You want to be able to show your expertise in utilizing your skill set. So you want to also jot down the outcomes, the results that you gained, that you brought about just by using those skills that you have. Okay, so what skills, abilities, and interests do you have? Let's go to the next slide. We're going to take a power pause right now, and I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes, exactly 2 minutes, and I'm going to set my clock, my timer for you. And during this 2 minutes, I want you to write down your go-to skill, ability, or interest. And remember, these are the skills, the abilities, or interests that you fall back on, that you do without even thinking. I also want you to write down evidence of demonstrated success. And when I'm talking about evidence of demonstrated success, I'm talking about what is the outcome that you've brought about? What is the result you've brought about by virtue of using your skills, abilities, or interests? Okay? So you have 2 minutes, and I'm going to say, actually write it down, because I know you're probably thinking right now. Things are going on in your head, and write those things down right now. Don't wait, because if you wait, you may forget them, or you may forget them as you're thinking about them right now. So, okay, your 2 minutes starts right now. Okay, your 2 minutes are up. Now, that was my timer alarm going off. You probably heard the phone ring in the background. Well, that should just be proof that, and here it goes again, that I am a social worker who has a side hustle. I am currently working in my home office, and I actually forgot to move the phone. So I'm going to continue going so we can get through this, and then I'll figure out who's calling, or I'll just let my husband get it. We'll get to that question in a moment. Okay, so I hope you've used your 2 minutes wisely, and that you have followed my instructions, and that you've written down your go-to skill, ability, or interest, and your evidence of demonstrated success. Okay, the next question that we want to consider is, how much money do you want to make? And as you see by the picture, there's Benjamins falling from the sky. Well, we know that that doesn't happen, right? Benjamins don't fall from the sky. I don't know anybody who has a tree in their backyard that they can go and just shake the money off of it. And I certainly don't know anybody who has found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So, if you want to be a social worker who has a sustainable, successful, satisfying side hustle, you definitely want to ask yourself, how much money do you want to make? And this is part of your goal setting, right? Now, I started working a side hustle in 2003. And in 2003, my family was going through a major financial situation. We almost lost everything in 2003. We were experiencing health concerns. We just had major financial concerns in 2003. A lot of things happened to us. And it just changed the course of our lives. In 2003, I started working a side hustle because I had to. Our family needed the money. So the money that I earned from that side hustle went into our household budget. I mean, we were concerned about things like making sure the lights stayed on and making sure the phone stayed on, things of that nature. And so for me, at that time, I did not have an idea of how much money I wanted to make. I just knew how much I needed. So I worked the full-time job, and then, as I said before, my side hustle supplemented our household income. We have now progressed to the point where my side hustle no longer supports our household income. It is not incorporated into the household income. It is now disposable income. And we have supported our oldest daughter's travel to Europe, and she will be going to South America in the fall. My youngest daughter and I have also traveled to Europe. We have been able to make purchases that have enhanced our lifestyle through our side income money. Now, I talk about setting a goal for how much money you want to make, and that is important when you have a side hustle. It's important because if you have a clear picture of how much you want to make, then you also have clarity regarding the type of work that you want to do. You also have an idea regarding how much you want to work. So you have clarity around, your earnings. And this is very important. Now, again, I understand that there are social workers who have full-time jobs who do need to supplement their household incomes. That's where I was in 2003. So I definitely get it. What I hope is that at some point as you progress, that you will be able to flip or progress to this point where your side hustle income is no longer needed to support your household income, and that it will become disposable income that you can use to invest in your future, income that you can use to invest in stocks, income that you can use to establish a retirement income for yourself. So it is important to decide how much money you want to make. So what I sometimes suggest is that you look at where you are, and if you don't need the side hustle income to satisfy a household need, then pinpoint something that you want, or pinpoint something that you want to do and determine how much you need to do that. So you might say, well, Marceline, what if I do need to supplement my household income and my household budget? Then my suggestion to you is to choose an item or an expense that you want to cover with your side hustle money. For example, do you have a credit card that you want to pay off? Then use your side hustle money to go directly to payment for that credit card so that you can pay it off. Or do you have other bills that you want to pay off? Use your side hustle money to knock those bills out. But target a specific, I'm saying that word again too, target a specific bill that you can pay off and then go to the next one. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because that's what we did. That's how we got out of the hole that we were in. We targeted certain bills, and then as we paid those off, we went to the next one. And again, as I said, now we're at a place where we are using the side hustle income that we earn to supplement things that we want to do, as well as to set a path for our future. So we're going to go to another 2-minute power pause. And I hope this is helpful for you. I want to invite you to shoot me an email. You can email me at marceline@mlbaileyconsultantsinc.com. You can also post your questions or your comments in the social workers private Facebook group. But I want to get some feedback from you. Now, with this power pause, you have 2 minutes again. This time, I want you to write down something that you have wanted to do but put off because you didn't have the money to do it. Additionally, write down how much money you need to do that one thing, and then write down how much extra money a week or month you need to earn in order to have enough money to meet that particular need, that specific need. Are you ready? All righty. Your 2 minutes starts now. All righty. Your 2 minutes is up. Now, I hope these power pauses are helpful for you. Again, I think it's important. I think as I'm talking, you're probably thinking of things. You have some ideas that are coming to you. You may have questions that you have. I think it's really important to write those down in the moment before you forget them, or before you forget them as you were thinking of them in that moment. So please take advantage of the power pauses while we're going through the webinar. Okay, the third question that we're going to discuss is, where do you want to work? Now, this is a big one, and it's probably one of the things that I really, really enjoy talking about. As you see in our graphic, here's a person who is working, and it looks like they're in a restaurant or at a buffet. They're definitely around a table where there's food. When you have a side hustle as a social worker, you have the opportunity to work anywhere. And that's what the great thing about having a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle is all about. You get to decide the environment that fits your needs. Now, like I said, today, as I'm recording this particular webinar, 5 Smart Questions, I'm working in my home office, and that's pretty convenient for me. I can, when I'm done with this, I'm going to go maybe get some water. I might get a fruit bar or a snack, something I can snack on. I'm going to go maybe play with the dog, go hang out with my husband, see what our youngest daughter is doing. So I don't have to go anywhere in particular, but I can be right here. And I'm telling you, I'm comfortable because I'm wearing a pair of shorts and a tank top right now. I don't know if you wanted to hear that, but I am. And I'm comfortable. So it is important to work in an environment that fits you and fits your needs. Now, I believe that there are 4 C's, and I'm talking about the letter C, that comprises a satisfying work environment. Number 1, the first C is that you should be compelled to do the work. That's right, compelled. You should feel as if you're doing work that you don't care if you're being paid to do it or not. You should do work that you do automatically, that it's a part of you, that you can't stop yourself from doing it. You should be compelled. You should also be competent in that work. And that means that you should be able to use your skills, abilities, and interests in the work you do to bring about a specific outcome or desired outcome. So a satisfying environment should have, number 1, it should be one in which you are compelled. Number 2, it should be one in which you are able to express or show your competence. Thirdly, you should be comfortable. You should feel comfortable not only in the physical structure, you should feel comfortable doing the work, working with your target population or your target market. You should be comfortable working with the people who are around you. Now, the good thing or the best thing or the smart thing about a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle is that you can choose with whom you work. You can work with a large number of people, or you can work with only a few people. You can work with an organization, or you can work individually on your own. It's up to you. You're the decision maker. So, a satisfying work environment should allow you, or you should be compelled to do the work. You should be able to show your competence, and you should be comfortable in what is number 4, a specific or specified context. And the context incorporates all of the things that I talked about. The physical structure as well as the atmosphere in the space in which you're working. It incorporates the people, the attitudes, the personality of the people that you're working with, the personality of the group, the personality in the room. It encompasses all of those things. And you get to decide what that means for you. You may be someone who enjoys working in a very structured, formal environment. You can create that for yourself. You also may be someone who thrives in an artsy, hardworking, but artsy, creative environment. The idea behind where you want to work is being in an environment that allows you to thrive and to do your best work and to bring about the desired outcome or the desired results for your clientele. So, yes, we have another power pause. 2 minutes. I want you to think about your 3 key must-haves. What do you need in a work environment that will allow you to thrive? Also, write down the aspects of an environment that motivate you. When you go into an environment, or when you think about an environment in which you thrive, what about that environment will cause you to feel motivated? And again, I believe this is an important question because you want your side hustle to bring out your very best. You want it also to be satisfying. And you want it to be a side hustle in which you are going to want to continue for as long as you choose. Not as long as you have to, but as long as you choose. So take 2 minutes and write those things down. Starts now. All righty. That's our third power pause. There are two more questions that I share in the ebook starter guide, 5 Smart Questions Social Workers Should Ask If They Want to Boost Their Social Work Income. And those two questions are, what outcome will you provide, and who will support you in this venture? I mentioned earlier that the phone was ringing ringing, and I was going to figure out who was calling later or just let my husband get it. Well, he answered the phone for me. That's part of what you're going to consider when you answer the question, who will support you in this venture? Things like, who's going to answer the phone when I'm working? That's an important one. I want you, again, to go to For Real Social Workers online magazine and download your free ebook starter guide, 5 Smart Questions to Ask If You Want to Boost Your Social Work Income, because you will get in that starter guide detailed information about why these questions are important. You also get links to additional information to help you get started. Once again, I'm doing this because I have almost 20 years of experience working a side hustle, second job, and part-time gig. And I've learned over the years that in order to have a firm foundation for a side hustle that fits your lifestyle and your needs, you need to start by asking these key questions. So again, go to www.forrealsocialworkers.com/start here, and there you can download your starter guide, and you'll also get a planner where you can jot down notes, questions, and all of your ideas as well. So what's next? What's next is I have additional webinars in the series that I'm going to release. I want you to ask questions and share your comments in the social workers social workers private Facebook group. Again, you can go to Facebook and you can find it at social workers group. You will need to ask to be to have entrance into the group, and I have a questionnaire because this group is geared toward social workers and those who work in the social services field. So, and I also want to make sure you're a real person. So you'll need to answer those questions in order to get into the group. Also, you'll find new blog posts For Real Social Workers online magazine, and that's at www.forrealsocialworkers.com. And again, if you go to /start here, or if you go to the tab, when you go to the website and you go to the Start Here tab, you'll find a number of resources just for you to help you to get started with developing a sustainable, successful, and satisfying side hustle. You can also shoot me an email. You can send it to me at marceline@mlbaileyconsultantsinc.com. I have another resource that I want to share with you, and it is 5 Smart Ways to Boost Your Social Work Income. And this is an audio series. It's 9-part audio series, but oh my gosh, it has so much information in it. I talk about the 5 ways that I have personally used to boost my social work income. And all of these ways can be sustainable, successful, and satisfying to social workers. In addition to the 9-part audio series, I've also included a bonus audio series where I actually answer the questions, the 5 questions. I share my answers with you and tell you what I said when I answered them. And I also talk about the thought process that I used to answer the questions. You can also find 5 smart ways to boost your social work income on the For Real Social Workers online magazine Start Here page. And in case you've missed my contact information, here it is again. I'm Marcelyn Bailey. I'm so glad you joined me. I am so happy that you were here. I'm going to end this webinar by inviting you to share the information with your social work colleagues, your social work friends. Let them know that the Side Hustle Social Worker webinar series is here and available for you. I'm Marcelyn Bailey. And, as always, take good care.